What is up, YouTube? By the title, y'all can see we caught something insane today. We caught 200 points, a 1 to 5 RR, and we had the day up $1,700. I'm going to put up a live trade execution for y'all, and then after, we're going to review the trade, see exactly why I took it, and find out ways that y'all can learn from this trade as well. All right, so y'all sit back and relax and enjoy the live trade execution.
Have you ever built your whole life around a single purpose, only to realize, when you finally reach it, there's nothing left of you? I did. I thought revenge would save me. I thought if I could just kill the man who ruined my life, all the pain would disappear. But it didn't. Even after the enemy was gone, the anger stayed. The emptiness stayed. No one tells you what happens after the war. No one tells you how to live when you're no longer fighting.
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that little live trade execution. My bad for it actually being so late in the trade. I had to close my laptop, midday during school, but I was able to catch that last portion of it. All right. So let's get in today and let me show you what I saw. All right, so the very first thing going in today is what you're always supposed to do is do your top-down analysis, right? For me, I usually don't go past the weekly time frame because it's just not very relevant, especially we're trading the way I'm trading, which is trying to take these intraday trades and not looking for the move, a week out from now, right? So going to the daily time frame, this was the first thing that I saw. All right, so as you can see here, price is obviously in a strong downtrend, right? And the first thing that I saw is that we had created this daily BPR, right? Now, this is an extremely strong PDRA, right? It's one thing having a daily fair value gap, which to be honest, they don't always hold. But when I see two of them line up, creating this daily BPR, this is a very, very strong confluence, right? So that was the first thing that I saw. And that was one thing that led me to being bearish. Next thing is on the 4 hour, right? So while price was trading within this range, we were inside this 4 hour gap, but still price was pretty much consolidating or just trading in it during the whole pre-market session, right? From Asia to London. And as you can see, we actually never had to close through it. And then looking here, right, at this 4 hour candle, you can see how strongly we had rejected off of that daily BPR, right? So scrolling to the left here as well, you can see that on this current leg, price is disrespecting all of our bullish gaps. So why does this make me even more confident that we're actually going to go down? It's because I'm seeing price respect our bearish PD arrays while at the same time disrespecting our bullish PD arrays, right? That's exactly what you want to see to ensure that we have bearish order flow. Okay, so now going down to my 15-minute time frame, let me go and turn on these Asia and London session. I know there's a lot of shit going on here, right? But all right, so looking into the day, right? Look what we saw. So look at Asia, okay? During Asia, as you can see, we really did not have a crazy range. It was only an 80-point range, right? And we would consider this our accumulation. And then going into London, as you can see, prices started driving immediately up into that daily BPR off the rip, right? And we had an immediate sell off once we had tapped into it, right? So what this is showing me is this is a perfect AMD setup, right? A bearish AMD setup. We have our accumulation, we have our manipulation, and then now going into New York, we have our distribution, right? So after seeing this, also with price trading so far past our Asia lows and our London lows, this all aligned for me to be bearish. Okay, so going into the 5 minute time frame, right? I'm going to show y'all what we got off the open. So right here, as I'm in Chicago, this is just the 9:30 open, but for here it's 8:30, right? Immediately we had a strong rip higher, a very, very strong rip higher, okay? And mind you, I'm still bearish because of everything we had here, even though we had moved this much higher. But then also, what I did see is that we had failed to trade below that 9:30 open, okay? So within this range, this is exactly where I was trying to look for shorts, okay? So going to this 1 hour time frame, look at what I saw within this bearish leg, okay? right here, we had this 1 hour fair value gap, okay? And price actually had ended up disrespecting this gap, right? But I was still very, very bearish due to our higher time frame structure still pointing in the same direction, okay? But as you see, price had retraced into this gap and going here back to the 5 minute, right? What you can see is we had a very prominent intermediate high resting here, okay? So once price reached this, I immediately saw this rejection. And I'm not going to go over ES right now, but as you can see, we ended up getting um, a high time frame SMT between this high, okay? So going into the 1 minute chart, right? So we reach this 1 hour fair value gap, we take out liquidity, okay? And we also create a high time frame SMT, right? And not only from here, this was pretty much all I had to see for me to take some kind of inversion entry outside of this gap, right? But this is something that made this an even stronger this made me believe in this trade so much more when I saw this happen, right? Going on to the 1 minute, which you can see is we had a pretty sharp rejection after getting that sweep, the SMT and, from the gap, right? But look what happened. Price came straight back up, and we ended up inducing this high and then immediately having a strong sell, right? So the only thing I was looking for this to get into my trade idea was some type of low time frame inversion, right? And as you can see, our, closest here would have been this 1 minute, right? But to be honest, what I saw here going to the 5 minute chart is that we had something much cleaner, right? And the reason being why I didn't end up taking that 1 minute is because the 5 minute is so close, and this is also a stronger um fair value gap, right? Because the higher the time frame, the stronger it is. If I see this get inverse, this will give me a way stronger confirmation that price is actually going to win when it moves to the downside. All right. So as I was waiting for this, my teacher, she had told me to close my laptop, but mind you, so this is where discretion comes into play, right? After seeing everything here line up with the SMT, the liquidity sweep, and the gap, and then that strong rejection on top of the inducement, with us also leaving those 930, the 930 open intact, I was extremely confident in this. So prior to the actual inversion, I ended up taking an early entry here, right around 210, 25, right? Placing my stop loss above the high and then just targeting that 930 open, right? So this was a pretty conservative target, I would believe. But to be honest, it worked out a lot in their favor because I'm not gonna lie, I would have been shitting balls if I was in this, looking at this pullback here, right? But my overall draw were was this 1 hour gap below here, right, that I marked out, right? And the reason being is when you get large legs like this, a lot of the time, the strongest or the fair value gaps at the bottom or high of these legs act as magnets for price, right? And as we're seeing that we're going bearish, and then we also have these previous week lows resting below. This was, like a no-brainer that price was going to try to reach this area, right? But for me, I'm not really looking for, home runs. We're really just trying to look for those base hits so we can consistently, take out profit, right? So going back down to the 1 minute here, we ended up taking this short right from here. But then mid trade, right? This is actually when I came back to the trade in my very next period when I was able to look at it. So I entered in with 5 micros, right? Because point reach was large. It was like the stop loss was actually like fairly large here, right? It was probably around like 40, 50 points. And I didn't want to go in with the mini because if I would have gotten stopped out, it would have been way more than I wanted to risk, right? So I just cut that in half. But once I saw price consolidating here, this didn't make me flip anything, right? I was still fairly confident that we were going to move down there, but just to be safe, because price sometimes will tend to actually come back up to these high time frame levels, sweep them, and then actually continue. So instead, what I did is, I was already up a decent amount. I believe at this point I was up around $1,300 with 5 micros. I just took off 3 micros and I placed my stop loss above this consolidation zone, and I let 2 micros run to my full take profit, which was somewhere down here. All right, going back, you can see my position tool. Let's turn this off, right? But yeah, so pretty much this was an A plus plus setup. Everything had aligned perfectly. Higher time frame, market structure had aligned with our lower time frame, and this was just a beautiful trade. As you can see, 4.8 RR. We caught 200 points. This is absolutely beautiful, right? But if y'all have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And y'all boys stay safe, right? Keep trading, keep using good risk management, keep your psychology in check, and I will Get up with y'all boys in another video. All right. Have a good one.